Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and today let's talk about backups. It doesn't need to be an expensive cloud solution or a time-wasting solution, and I'm gonna show you right now. No vamos niška. Check this out. There you go. You really need to back up your computer. Actually, the most important thing and the most vulnerable thing is your data on your computer, and coincidentally your hard drive is one of the most fragile things that you have on a computer, so you really need to make backups. My strategy that I'm gonna show you here, it doesn't use any cloud subscription, it doesn't use any of those things, it's directly backup to an external hard drive. If you are trying to do that manually, like update your files manually to an external hard drive, that's bonkers, okay? This video was inspired from my sister, some friends of mine that question a lot how to make backups. They don't want to use a subscription cloud-based stuff, so they ask me a lot this, and this is actually my solution. It's free and it's pretty damn simple. The solution that I'm gonna present here, it's two of them, okay? One is just to back up your files, okay? And the other one is to back up the entirety of your hard drive, Windows included, everything. I use an SSD dedicated to work with my videos and my personal projects and so on, okay? So I have an SSD only to do that. I make two backups, one to a hard drive, a traditional hard drive inside of their computer, and one to here. The software that I use to do that is called Freefilesync, and this software is amazing and it's free. It's absolutely free. But if you can, please donate. They are really cool software. And when you download and you install the software, they show you a very cute animal. For me, it was a little birdie. Oh. So download it, install it. There is no second installation of shit that you don't need, like McAfee. Let's open then what we have installed. So it's called the Freefilesync, and you can see that there is my two backups. So this is the one that I do every single time that I work on my computer. So it passes directly from my SSD to my internal hard drive, and this one, it's from my SSD to the external Toshiba hard drive, okay? I do this periodically. As you can see, it's been 35 days that I don't back up to this external drive, so it's a good idea to do it. Now, let's create a new backup, okay? And I'm gonna guide you through this. Before we start, let's just me show you what we are backing up. We're gonna back up this folder here, and we're gonna back it up to a USB key that I have on the computer. Let's do that, okay? So now what we're gonna do is to make a new backup, okay? Let's press then new. I can select the folder that I want to back up, and it's this folder on my desktop. If I want to back up the whole desktop, I just select the desktop, okay? And let's do that. Let's select the whole desktop. I have nothing in the desktop, so let's select the desktop. And of course, you could also back up for some reason something on the cloud. Let's go to the destination. In the destination, I can browse. I want to go to my USB key and I made two folders, one called backup and the other called archive. And let's select the backup and select folder. Again, you could select the cloud to a cloud, and theoretically, if you want, you could access to your home network and do the backup to that computer. But in my experience, it sometimes doesn't really work properly. So no, let's select the backup from the USB key, select folder, pretty damn basics. Now, if you want to do other folders to different folders to back it up, is you just press the green plus over here, and of course you can just redo the process. Okay, that's not what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna remove this. Now what we're gonna do is check out how the system will compare, filter and synchronize everything. So compare, filter and synchronize. Let's press the mechanic wheel over here, and as you can see there is the comparison, the filter and synchronization, and let's check out each settings just to be sure that we have what we want to do our backups. Okay, this is how it will compare the original files on the desktop and the files that we're going to do the backup. So here is the file time and size, the file content and the file size. Honestly, the file size is not the best one because you could change a Word document and the file size it maintains, so you want to back it up, so that's not a good idea. So you have the file content, that is, it will check every byte of every file in extreme detail. It takes forever, so it's not the best thing. But there is the file time and size. So on your computer, let me just go here to the folder. There is the date and its size to compare, and usually if the size doesn't change, the date will change if you do any type of modifications. So I think that one, at least for my experience, is the best one. It's extremely fast. If you want to ignore errors, you can just press it. It's not a good idea. I like to see if there is some error. Maybe, for example, you have Word document open and the software cannot update one of the files because it's open in the Word documents or something like that. So, and you can also make automatic retries, but for the moment, let's leave it in blank. Let's go then to filter. Now, here in filter, you have to do this with a bit of code. But by default, it has done an extremely good job. So, for example, this is the system volume information. It will not back it up, or invisible files that you have on your hard drive, it won't back it up. It's not that important. It's previews of stuff. For example, this image here, and you press it, it will create a preview of this image to display here. You don't want to back it up the preview, you want to back it up the image itself. This is just an example of what is not selecting by default. So in here I change nothing. Let's go to the synchronization. So the last step, in two-way, it will back it up in two ways. So that means that from the desktop to the USB key, it will compare both of them and change left and right between both of them. That's not really what we want. What we want, maybe it's look like mirror. That means that from the left, from the desktop, it will back up everything and update everything to the USB key. In my case, you have just the update, so it's just gonna update the files. That means if you create a new file, it won't back it up. So not really what we want. And we have custom, okay? The closest one that I use, it's the mirror one. Let's see what it does. So if the file exists on the desktop, it will copy. That's exactly what we want. If you create a new file, I want to copy it. Okay, perfect. If there is some difference between the files, update from the original to your backup, exactly. If there is some conflict, again, update from the left to right, from the desktop to the key. And so in here it's asking, for example, if the file is updated more recent on your backup than in your original folder. That could be a problem. For example, you just forget to unplug the external hard drive and you start working with the external hard drive, and that one is the updated one. So that could happen. So what is gonna be its reaction? It's update from the desktop to the USB key. That's not a good idea, so let's change it. So it's update to back to the other side, or do nothing, or update to the other side. If a file only exists on the backup, what it's gonna be its reaction? It delete right away. Maybe you don't want that, but let me explain. For example, in your desktop, you delete an image because you don't need it anymore. It will delete it as well on the backup, okay? Maybe you could recover the image back again, so it will be a little bit annoying. Every single time that you do a backup, it will recover all the old files, so that's not really what we want, and do nothing. And I will choose to delete them. Although it looks like it's a crazy thing, but there is a way to not delete them, and I'm gonna show you in a bit. This is important. Activate this is to detect if the files were moved inside of folders. It will detect that, and it won't add some conflict because of that. So to deleted files, there you go. To deleted files, what gonna happen? It goes to the recycle bin on your computer. It's to delete permanently. So that means on the backup, it will delete permanently. It's not going past to the recycle bin, or send it to another folder. And that's why I have the archive folder. It's exactly what I want. So let's select browse and select the USB key, archive, and select over here. If you want, you can send email notifications, and let's just press OK as it is. I think it's really good. Now that we've done all of this, just for curiosity, you can press compare and it will analyze everything. And there you go. So we're gonna copy all these files to the other side because the other side it's empty, and so on. Now, I don't want to open this software and do all this work every single time that I'm gonna do a backup. Of course not. Let's go then save all this configuration, save it as a job. And let's press here. And it has this new window that you can configure how it's gonna run the backup. If you want to run it minimized, you can select it here. You can put the auto close. That means that the software will shut down by itself. I don't want that for this tutorial. You also can ignore errors. I don't really like that idea. I'm gonna leave there. If there is some problem, please notify me that there is some problem with my backup, okay? And when it's finished, this is a cool thing. If you have a lot of backups to do and you want to go to bed and leave the computer doing its backup, you can tell it to shut it down or sleep. And also you can schedule a job. I want to do it manually, but yeah, you could do a schedule auto backups, okay? And let's save this. Now, to save this, I have a folder specifically called Freefilesync to save my jobs of backups, and let's call this job over here tutorial, and let's save. Now I'm gonna go to my folder here with my tutorial backup, double click on it and watch. So there you go, it did the backups. So let's select to close, and let me just check the USB key now, and there you go, all my backups here inside of a folder. That is the folder over here. Let me just compare. So everything seems to check out. Let me see here. There you go, everything is backed up. Just for fun, here on the folder on the desktop, I'm gonna just move this image inside of this folder, and let's delete the text file number 3. There we go. Let's run the backup. So I'm gonna go here to my nifty dandy jobs to backup. If you want to have your folder showing up on the quick access, it's pretty damn simple. You just select your folder and drag here. It shows up there, okay? So let's run the backup. Just double click, and there you go. Let me see if it done a good job. So let's go to the backup. Here is the folder, okay? And now we can see that the file number 3, it's deleted as well on the backup. Beside the folder, there is the hot guy at work inside of it as well. So everything is done perfectly. And let's see the archive. So let's go back, the archive. So a folder, and there is the deleted file. Pretty damn cool, isn't it? Now, I want to show you really a current error that shows up. Let me just activate the backup. And there is this error code, okay? It could not find the backup folder. Let's check out on this PC. And as you can see, the USB drive is here and the backup is here. What has happened that the address has changed. It's not just to show you guys. Let's go here to the Freefilesync, and as you can see, it's backing up to the E drive and the backup folder. So another hard drive or another thing, it's using this path. So the solution is pretty damn simple. Just make sure that the path is the correct one. So if the origin path it's not the good one, you need to change it. And to change that, make sure that this path it's not occupied. So if the E entrance it's occupied, inject that USB pan or whatever it's using this path, inject it. And now we have to change the letter of that USB key or hard drive or whatever. So to do that, let's right click on the start key, okay? And let's go to this management. It's loading, and here is the hard drive that we need to change. Now, be extremely careful. If you change something in here, it could make big consequences. So be sure to select the correct drive, okay? Right click on it, change drive, letter and path, and let's click on change, and let's select again the E, okay? Yes. And there we go. Now I can do my backup. Let's go to Freefilesync and let's run. There we go. So let's talk about the second option, copying everything, including the Windows installation, all your software, all the data from your hard drive. Imagine if you are in a laptop, I imagine that you have only one hard drive, to an external backup. I tried a bunch of softwares and they all were terrible. None of them worked properly. Believe me, I tried. I never saw a bunch of blue screens of that in a short period of time. My solution is a little bit strange, and if you have a better solution, please drop it down below on the comments. But the solution that I want to show you will enable you to just replace the hard drive. That means if, for example, the hard drive on your laptop dies, you just have to replace with the backup, and the Windows will start like nothing ever happened. And you will recover everything until the date of your last backup. You need to buy an SSD from Samsung, okay? Make sure that the volume on your SSD it's bigger than the used space on your C drive. I am telling you to use the Samsung hard drive because they have an excellent mirroring software. Another thing that you're gonna need is find a way to plug this in your computer. Now, if you have a tower computer, you can plug it in via the SATA connection or something like that. Another solution is to buy a very cheap external box, just put it inside. So make sure that the enclosure of your hard drive is at least USB 3.0, okay? Because this could take a long time. This drive here, the Samsung drive here, it's brand new. It won't initiate if I plug it in, but it's okay because the Samsung software can detect if it isn't or not. Now, you have to download it from the Samsung site, and sometimes, most of the time, people just download the Samsung Magic Software Customer SSD. It's not that one. You have to go here to data migration and download this bad boy here, the data migration software, okay? And let's start it. And yes, where is it? And most of the times will take a little bit of time to kick off. And there we go. Now, your hard drive on your computer, it's not Samsung, it doesn't really matter. what it really matters is that the backup one is a SSD. Now, very important, this is not a software to make backups. This is a software to copy from older drives to a new SSD. But you can use this as a backup, okay? Make sure you select the correct drive, okay? So here is the source, is my C local disk, okay? And the destination is the Samsung SSD, this one over here. So it tells me that everything is okay and it's ready to start. Now, keep in mind that this SSD 960 EVO, it's not an SSD, it's an NVMe, so it's way faster than an SSD itself, but it will do the backup anyway. So no matter which format is your C drive, this software will work. It's impressive. Let's press start. And it prompts you with a message that means that if you have something on this drive, everything will be deleted. Keep that in mind. You have some files or something inside of this, it will clean everything and install everything exactly as it's inside of the computer. And press OK. So everyone, I'm sorry for the awkward angle here, but I have to record my screen just to prove that the backup really worked. So I put the backup SSD back on my system. This is not the SSD, it's the NVMe, so the hard drive that I use every day. So I have to make a difference, so to prove to you that it will start up with the SSD. Now, let's add a new, I don't know, text document. Let's call this NVMe or NVMe, I don't know how it's called, but there you go. So there is here the file that only exists on this drive. Now, let's reboot my computer. Now, depending on the motherboard, to select boot, you have a different key. So on this MSI, it's F11. So let's press F11. And there you go. So let's select the backup one, okay? Let's press enter. Of course, it's a little bit slower because it's not an NVMe, it's a normal SSD, but check it out. No file. The file is not there, but the system is all there. All my things are working, the clouds are working, everything is working as it's supposed to. So, if you have any dramatic story to tell me about not backing up, please leave it down below on the comments. Also on the comments, if you have any questions, leave it there as well. Drop a like if you learned something and subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. I am Miguel, until next time, see ya!